and welcome to another wonderful Scifier unboxing. So today's unboxing is the haul that I did during a live stream I did a couple of weeks ago where I did sort of my monthly new release purchase live with everyone. If you haven't checked that out, be sure to do so. There'll be a link down below. So we have 74 books. I did order 75, but it looks like one of them is actually potentially out of print. I was a bit surprised to see it on the site anyway, so I got a refund for that one, and instead of 75 we have 74, so we do have a lot to go through. In fact, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bricks of manga. Now you might notice we're doing an unboxing and they're not in the box. Unfortunately today around me has been really bad weather, like storms and flood warnings, so many, so wet, oh dear. Everything is really wet, it's raining really badly, so the boxes were actually quite damp when they turned up. I did think that it would be wrapped in bubble wrap, but just to be sure I wanted to get them out of the wet boxes just in case, because they were really soggy. Usually what happens is the van that they're in, transported in, has ended up getting rain inside and the floor's wet and it's sat on the wet floor and the box gets wet. Thankfully though, wrapped in bubble wrap, so not too bad, and we can still do a bit of unboxing because we've got the bubble wrap, but yeah, I needed to get them out of the boxes because I was worried. I have had parcels come from other sellers where they don't put any plastic around the book and they've come a bit soggy and they've gotten warped, and usually I can get a bit of a refund, but it's a bit sad. So I do appreciate some extra plastic wrapping around them. Just before I get too much more into unboxing these, actually I'll clear some of these away. We'll do this one first, but before we just get into it, there are a few questions I want to go through that have been asked on previous videos, and I thought instead of going through and answering them individually, I'll just do it at the beginning of this video. Also, I'm really bad at replying to comments. I'm so sorry. No one, please don't take it personally. I am just really bad at it. So there are a lot of questions around shipping and points and being able to use the discount codes. So to use the discount codes and to earn points, you need to make sure that your entire transaction is done in Great British pounds. So at the top where you're able to change the currency to say euros or dollars of whatever country you're using your dollars, you need to make sure it stays in pounds. It is unable to handle both a different currency and the discount points / loyalty credit stuff. But if you do the whole transaction, and when I say whole transaction I mean making sure when it goes into your basket it's in pounds, making sure when you pay and check out it's in pounds, you will be able to use the Caketinz discount code for 10% off and earn loyalty credit for your next order. You will still be able to put an international address in, so don't worry about that. You just need to make sure that at no point during the start to finish you do another currency other than GBP. The other thing I want to talk about is shipping. Now, especially for Europeans, great news. They have introduced a flat rate shipping regardless of how many books you order. I will put some more details on the screen. For a chunk of countries, it is a €5 flat shipping rate, and for some others, it is an €8 flat shipping rate. Doesn't matter how many books you buy 1, you buy 100, that is how much you pay for shipping. For other countries not on the list, I can't remember if some of them are, I think, intending to change, but I don't know what to yet. But for Europeans at least, this is amazing. definitely check it out with those shipping rates. In terms of how long it takes in order to ship, I ordered this, what day is it? So I think from ordering to arriving, it has taken 12 days. Now I did a really big order from so many publishers, so it probably means it takes a little longer than maybe a normal order, but I would say at least a week to 10 days from ordering to at least dispatch is what I would say is the average. And then it's almost next day to the day after from my experience for getting it delivered. I know they are currently working on having some sort of like automated emails / something in your account / order so you can see if things are being a bit delayed and such. But that is my experience for how long it takes. So I'd say from ordering within 2 weeks is about how long it takes. Now that is the UK only. I have no idea about other countries. I would love to know, because I get asked the question a lot, if you would be happy to share your experience and you're outside the UK with how long it's taken to ship and dispatch and stuff. Please do share. I would actually be interested to know. And as I've said, be sure to use code Caketinz for 10% off your next order. Especially if you see anything here that catches your eye. We've got so much new stuff and discounted stuff, and my cat is pushing stuff off the shelf. Just before we get into it, don't forget to like and leave a comment on the video and subscribe for so much manga content. I do have a bunch I'm planning to try and film this week, so there should be a whole bunch going up for members if you're interested in early access. It is only 99p a month. And also check out my social media and affiliate links down below, like the Dudettes Discord server, where we are constantly sharing more up-to-date deals and stuff, because these videos tend to take a little bit of time from me recording to putting them up. So if you're more interested in more up-to-date stuff, definitely join the Discord. Let's actually start looking at the manga. Actually, no. I tell a lie. First things first, can we just appreciate this massive, massive stack of bookmarks that came with this order? I'm not even sure how many there are. $39. Now, there is a slight chance that I've missed some in the pile of debris from the boxes over there, so I will go and check that before the end of the video. But 39 bookmarks. And I think we have like all of the designs potentially. I think there's 6 designs I want to say, and I do have a favourite, and that is the little kitty in the spaceship. That is my favourite. So that is all 6 of them. Haha, ha 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 ha. I have so many. I'm going to one day make a skirt. Right, now let's actually start open this manga. Do I need my scissors? I might need my scissors. I'm also trying filming at a lower frame rate today to see if it helps my phone, because it's definitely been struggling the last few videos I've done, and I don't want random variable frame rates like 44.23 or whatever it had done. Fair, I do use and abuse it with all the recording and pictures of cats that I do. When in doubt, brute force it. Oh, I feel plastic wrapped already. Okay, first off, on top we have Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible 8. I read volume 7 like last week, and it's just such a cute, adorable series. I'm actually kind of happy to learn that it is complete in Japan and we are fast approaching an end point. I'm going to be a bit sad though, because it definitely feels like it's going to end with some potential spoilers, maybe jump. It's too lighthearted a series. It definitely feels like it's going to end up with them getting together. And sometimes it just, I don't want the series to end with them getting together. I want to see them together. But I have been really enjoying these sort of light-hearted high school. Are they in high school? I don't know how old they are. They feel younger than high school. Middle school, maybe? I don't know. I mean, we don't have that sort of system of school in the UK. It's just primary school and secondary school, and then primary school, secondary school, potentially college, and then university. Though college might also be sixth form, and that might also be attached to your secondary school, like mine was. Oh, I'm getting into things. Anyway, I love these light-hearted series, and they're not particularly high stake. They're just, like, refreshing. Just, like, I feel like I read it, and I feel like I'm just getting a really nice, big, deep sigh. Next we have Witchcraft Works 3. It actually was not a bad price, which was one of the reasons I picked it up. / I have a whole bunch of the series, and this is a volume I'm missing. So now I can read to like volume 9 or 10. I'm only 2 volumes off being complete, I believe. So we are planning on doing a Witchtober in October across the Discord. As you might already know, I'm a big scaredy cat and don't like scary things. So for October, I tend to avoid the like read-alongs people do, because it tends to be horror or spooky, and then someone suggested doing a witchy themed October, and I was like, oh my god, yes! So I've started to try and accumulate witchy volumes that I want to read, and this was one of the ones that was like big witchy series, and now with this one volume I can read like 7 or 8 volumes, and again, was for a good price. Also, I feel like I don't see them that often. Witchcraft Works just feels harder to find sometimes. Actually, I'm on my knees. I need to find a stool before my knees die. Okay, I'm on my stool. We're all good. I'm not going to lose my knees. Okay, next we have, because we can see it, we have Golden Kamuy 29. Now, actually, 28 should be in here as well. I'm a little behind on picking it up. I'm not, like, overly rushing for the series, because I'm going to wait till it's complete before I start reading it. I don't think we're that far off. I think is it like 31 volumes, 32 volumes, something like that before it's complete. So it's not that far away, but because it's not a series I'm actively reading, I was kind of not rushing to grab volumes, even though I saw 28 has been out for a little while. But I think I have 28 in here as well. It's definitely a series I do intend to try and binge at some point. Next we have Kowloon Generic Romance 4. I haven't read my volume 3, but it is in my basket. I can't remember why it's plastic wrapped. I don't remember it having plastic wrap necessary stuff for like volume 2 or volume 1. but maybe I'm just misremembering. She smokes. Could that be it? Is that enough for it to warrant being plastic wrapped? Anywho, I must say, with this series, I don't understand the hype. I don't like. It's a fine read. It's an interesting read, but I don't understand why people go crazy for it. Again, happy to admit that's a me thing, but I don't get it. It's fine, but I just don't understand the absolute adoration the series seems to get, which I'm fine with. It happens with series. I mean, there's series that I adore and obsessed with, and other people, no one else seems to be. It's just me. I'm more than happy with that because I know what I like, and I'm honest with myself about what I like. Anyway, next we have Record of Ragnarok 7. Such a good series. Sometimes I like my nice, wholesome, not really much happens, low stakes, like Kuba will let me be invisible, and then sometimes I like a series where people just punch each other in the face. This is just, it's just so fun and silly and overpowered, and it makes no sense, and that just makes it so good. I also really, really, really enjoy like various mythologies and the gods and their backstories, and you get so much of it in this. So happy to read it, so happy. I was a bit curious about the pacing, because I think it's on like 18 volumes or something in Japan. And we'd already gone through a few of the fights by like volume 5, and I was like, this feels like it's going along really quick. And then this fight has like spanned 3 or so volumes. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe it just keeps slowing down more and more and as the fights get more and more involved, which I'm happy with. I'm cool with that. I'm happy. I was just a bit confused at first. I was like, this is really going quite quick, but it's slowing down and I'm happy. Next, we have got Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop. And I kind of like the title. I like bubble up like soda pop. I find it interesting. What do you call like a fizzy drink in your country? Because personally, as someone who has quite a fondness for fizzy drinks, like we call it like pop, or I'll just call it a fizzy drink. Like, what do I want for tea? I'll have a fizzy drink. You don't really call it soda. I feel like I only hear it being called soda in the US, whereas over here in the UK, I don't really hear it. It's pop or fizzy drink, but fizzy drink is sometimes too long, but I don't really call it pop. My dad calls it pop. I call it fizzy drink. Or lilt. Just give me a lilt. It's not lilt anymore. Lilt's dead. Don't know anything about it, except that it also got a light novel, which I nearly accidentally bought and didn't want. Ben's not really so far read much of like slice of life light novels, so I wouldn't be buying it for him unless I found it secondhand. Then he'd be more interested. Next, we have, so The Summer Hikaru Died, Volume 1. Now this series has had loads and loads of hype. I do now understand that it is actually a horror. So I'm a little nervous, I'm a little concerned, but I am, maybe I'm just like really picky, because I feel like technically Summertime Rendering a horror, and I've actually vaguely enjoyed that, but I've not really found it too horror-y. Maybe, like, I don't like creepy, because none of the Junji Ito stuff appeals at all. I don't like the art style. It just does creep me out. I don't want to read it. And then same with, there was another one, I can't remember. But, like, Summertime Rendering, it just felt, I don't know, maybe I personally took it as more, like, psychological over horror. Even, like, yes, it is a horror. Yes, I know, I understand. But, like, maybe I just think of horror in a different way. I'm kind of hoping this falls down a similar sort of path to Summertime Rendering, and then I don't find it too bad. I do like that it's a nice matte and a big volume. I do enjoy bigger volumes with my poor eyesight. I find it easier to read, though I don't like it means the price is more. Next we have, yes! Princess of Convenient Plot Devices 2, and look at that gorgeous colour. It is the best colour. It is a nice minty colour. So happy. Very much enjoyed this volume 1. Have really been looking forward to volume 2. It is an isekai. It's not quite a villainessy. Is it a villainessy isekai? I think she wasn't like a good person before she's isekai'd. So yeah, let's say villainess isekai. I think she's been isekai'd into a book that she has read. What was the book? It was a BL book. She wants to just sort of chill, I think, and so she's trying to find someone to pretend to be her boyfriend so she can be left alone, I think. I don't know. It's been a little while now. I was mostly excited because of the colour of this volume. So pretty. I'm so happy. Next, we have Mao 10. Now, I do think I have a couple of volumes of Mao in this order, because I've been very behind on this, because I've not been up to date with reading it in the slightest. I've only read the first couple of volumes. I had quite enjoyed it. It is a series by Rumiko Takahashi, which is also Inuyasha, I think, which is another series I'm trying to collect. I think actually most series by this artist I've been trying to collect slowly, but like randomly, secondhand and stuff. So I think this is the only one where I have like a clear run that I could read and I've still not read it. Oh dear. We're approaching the bottom of first of 6 and we've only been going like 20 minutes. Next we have Coffee Moon 3. This was like kind of like a Groundhog Day sort of series where this girl keeps reliving her birthday over and over. And then in volume 1, her friend ends up getting stuck in the loop with her, and it's like, oh my god, this is the first thing that's changed seriously in how many decades I've been in this loop. And then things start to get a bit weird. I need to read both my volume 2 and my volume 3 now, but it's a neat sort of mystery series. I've been enjoying my mystery series recently, definitely. Final volume in this one, in a bubble wrap. Cat, do you want some bubble wrap? I really want to take a picture of what the cat's doing, but then I'd have to move it. And from my nicely positioned pointing on the desk. Right, next we have Boys Abyss 2. Boys Abyss 1 was weird. It was a lot darker than I expected. I have absolutely no idea what I was expecting at all in the slightest. I don't think that was it. I'm not sure if I enjoyed it, but I think it was well written. I definitely found myself reading it quite quickly and got through it quite quickly. But if I were to call it like a good read or a jolly, it's not a jolly read, a good read, I'm not sure. But I think it was well written. I'm a bit confused though, because I feel volume 1, I kind of felt like it wrapped up, it felt like it was a one-shot the way it wrapped up. So I'm a bit confused. I mean, I did think it continued on, and then it does continue on. So I'm very, very confused. I think I'm looking forward to read it because I'm confused, but I'm also very easily confused. So that could just be a me issue. Second parcel! Oh, I'm knocking the bookmarks everywhere. Okay, on top we have got a volume that Ben is going to be very super happy about, and that is Final Fantasy Lost Stranger 9. I actually talked about this series in one of my isekai videos. So in this series, basically, a guy and his sister are isekai'd into a Final Fantasy game, or sorry, a Final Fantasy world. It's not based on any particular game. It's kind of just got all the fundamentals of a Final Fantasy game, with the races and the spells and the jobs, classes, and stuff like that. It has loads of references to other Final Fantasy games. If you're interested in me talking a bit more in depth about it, definitely go check out my recommendation. I believe it's in the video game isekai video. I mean, I believe that all of the chapter titles are references to pieces of music from other Final Fantasy games, and then also in the back, I think, if I'm correct. Am I not correct? Oh, it doesn't have it in this one. It had it in all the others. Of course it does. The one I start to try and explain, it doesn't have it. So in pretty much the rest of them, it actually has a glossary at the back of the volume that kind of explains all the different references to other Final Fantasy games. It'll be like, this is a character from this game, or Pray Tell Return to the Waking Sands is a reference to 14, which is the only one I really played. But there is apparently a lot of 14 references. So if you're a 14 fan, read it. If you're a Final Fantasy fan in general, also read it. There are references to all of them, not just 14. Just that's the only one I care about because it's the only one I play. Ben absolutely, absolutely adores it. Ben is a much bigger Final Fantasy fan than me. He's played pretty much most of all of them, I think. There's only like 2 he said he hasn't. And when I asked how many times have you played Final Fantasy VII, he just went, yes. Okay, next we have, oh, it's quite chunky. We have Clock Striker Volume 1. Now this is published by Rockport. If you've not heard of Rockport, they kind of publish mangas, I want to say manga style, because they're generally, the artists and authors are generally not from Japan. I think it says on the back, yeah, story by, is that a US flag? Is that a US flag? I think it is, yes. Don't say that like I'm silly, there are flags that look similar, I don't want to get it wrong. And then art by, I don't recognise the top flag, is that French? Oh, someone's gonna be very mad at me. But yeah, generally they publish manga style stories by people who aren't from Japan. At least I think they do. The couple I have, I think they do. And this is one of them. I've been quite interested. I'm interested in picking them up if they have a similar sort of shape and size to a manga volume. I mean, that's, yeah, like that. Whereas a lot of graphic novels, they'd be bigger, there'd be different shapes and sizes. I really like manga because of the consistency between volumes. Yes, I know there's different shapes and sizes, but still, even across all the publishers and different formats, there's still only really like 4 different shapes if you don't include hardbacks. It's one of the main things I really love about manga, and it's crazy, I understand. But there are a few series by this publisher I'm interested in trying to pick up, and this was one of them, and it wasn't a bad price. I think it was £6 something before the 10% discount using code Caketinz, so happy to pick it up, looking forward to it. Next we have No Longer Heroine Volume 3. Have I read my Volume 2? I think I've read my Volume 2. No Longer Heroine was a series I was quite excited to try because a lot of people seem to really like it, and then when I read it, I really didn't like it. I didn't like the main character, I didn't like the main lead, and I didn't like the dynamic. I just didn't enjoy it that much, and I was quite disappointed. And a lot of people are like, it gets better by the end, and I'm like, cool, but I'm not really enjoying the people in it that much. And if people explain why I I don't like this, but I like some other series with toxic relationships, like I know there's a volume for a series coming up that has quite a toxic relationship in it, and I do enjoy it. I don't know why. There are just some that I do like, some that I don't like. I think sometimes you don't need to know or be able to explain why you don't or do like something. For example, I don't like Dreaming Sun because of the way it handles age gaps, but I really like Kiss Me at the Stroke of Midnight, and the age gap between the characters in both series are exactly the same, but I was fine with one and not the other. And actually no, I could probably really rant on why I think I don't like one and not the other, but that's not the point of this video. But sometimes it's just, I didn't really like it. Why am I still reading it? Because I like to read series to completion. Because I do agree that sometimes it can get better and a good ending to a series can make the series. I also just really like reading. I don't care. Next we have Blue Box 5. Now when I started picking this series up, I kind of thought it was going to be more of like a sporty sort of series, and it has got quite a heavy sport element to it, just not as much as I thought it would. Must say though, how pretty is this cover? I love the colouring. I love that Blue Box is like in the same colour as her, and it's pretty much just pink and blue. I love the contrast. That is so lovely. If I have space, that is a volume I'm going to face outwards on my shelves. Definitely. Oh look, I got another Mao, volume 12. So somewhere in here is volume 11. Somewhere. Oh, next we have My Coworker Has a Secret volume 2, which I actually think is the final volume. I think it's only a 2-volume series. Yeah, I think that is it. That's complete. Which I think is kind of a shame, because I really quite liked the first volume, and I liked the sort of dynamic between the male lead and the female lead. So for it to be complete at 2, it's like, okay. So I do hope it ends nicely and doesn't feel too rushed, is my hope from this. Because I've been really excited for volume 1. I kind of spent ages trying to track it down, finally got it, read it, I was like so excited, and then ordered volume 2, it was like, this is the last one. What do you mean this is the last one? Oh, got another golden camera. Yep, 28. I was right, I wasn't going crazy. It is here. Here we go. 28. So I am still up to date on that series. Got a very teetering pile to the side here. Don't know if I can... Nope, if I do that, it's gonna fall. Okay, next we have Bite Maker Volume 8. Oh my goodness. This is my kind of toxic relationship, which sounds very concerning to say out loud. I really like reading about toxic relationships. Again, that still sounds really bad out loud, but that doesn't mean I condone or want a toxic relationship. I very much don't. I like reading about it, that's it. Which I think is also fine when you're reading. I think it's completely okay to read about absolutely awful topics, as long as it's not like you condone it or you're agreeing with it. Just sometimes it's like, how do I learn about the topic and form an opinion without being able to read about it? And my preference is to always try and read about it over experience it if I can. If that makes any sense. I'm really going on some rants today, and I have no idea if any of them make very much sense. I'm not feeling too well today. And then I slept like 16 hours last night, which did not actually help me at all. Anywho, very toxic, very much enjoy it. Bit surprised it's not plastic wrapped though. Usually this is plastic wrapped. Does that mean it doesn't have any... do they normally plastic wrap on a volume by volume basis? I mean, it does happen, and I have series where it kind of starts halfway through, but I've not really seen it stop and start as much as some of them seem to do. Don't know. I'm rambling. Okay, next we have X Yakuza and Stray Kitten 3. It's a cat series that I still need to start reading, but this coming Sunday, which will actually have happened already by the time this video goes out, the Discord is doing a cozy chill read along. Pretty much going to start at noon and keep going till people need to go to bed, and we're just going to try and read as much together as we can. And my goal is to try and read through as many volume 1s as I can. And I think I'm going to try and do a cat session. Oh, and I should do this one as well, My New Life as a Cat volume 2. So these are 2 series that I think I'll try and read the volume 1s of at the weekend and see how I do. Use the scissors because I need this spot for manga. And speaking of volume 1s, we have Like a Butterfly volume 1. Now I think this is the same manga as Sign of Affection and Shortcake Cake. Now I am very unsure about this one because I've already heard some people say it's not the best. And personally, I really did not like Shortcake Cake, and Sign of Affection I do enjoy more, definitely more so, especially the spines. The spines are like best spines ever with that rainbow pastel gradient. Oh, I'm definitely very, very nervous to go into this one, so this might be another one I try reading on Sunday. Also, even though the read along will have already happened by the time this video goes out, and you are, if it does appeal to you, definitely do still join, because we're gonna try and do a bunch of them. Maybe not as many full day ones, we'll try and do some evening ones, but full day ones will be a little less regular, but they will still happen in the future, for sure. Definitely want to do some over Christmas, it'll be super cozy! Right, next we have Moriarty the Patriot 12, and I'm unfortunately behind on this series. I think I've read up to 9, so I am like 3 volumes behind now, which is so sad because I enjoy the series a lot. Very much enjoy Sherlock Holmes and like all his stories so much. I watch the movies, I read the books. I remember reading a bunch of Sherlock Holmes while I was in school. So being behind does make me sad. I do intend to try and catch up before the end of the year though. Okay, next we have Wolf Girl and Black Prince Volume 2, and this is the series I was talking about where I really do enjoy the toxic relationship in this. It is like red flag central. He's red flag, she's red flags. I still really enjoy it. Sometimes I find reading too many nice and happy romance series, it just gets a bit dull for me. I want some horrific drama, basically. And all like regular high school stuff isn't gonna have stuff like kidnappings and ransoms and murder attempts. You just won't get those in these. So instead, for these, it tends to be toxic stuff. I actually remember watching the anime for this while I was at university. I went through a bit of a shoujo romance binge at uni for any anime I could find. So there was like this and Say I Love You and like the one other high school romance anime there is out there. I can't remember what it was though. And I remember trying to buy volume 1 of this and it turned up in French. Or was it German? Because I didn't know it didn't have a license. This was many, many years ago. But now it does. So I've been happy. Final volume in this parcel. Cat, do you want some bubble wrap? Nope, because the cat is asleep. It is Dark Gathering 2. Now, actually, I had read my volume 1 last week as well. And I must say, I don't think the story is bad. I just don't think it's for me. It is a little bit too creepy for my taste. There was a whole thing in volume 1 that just I wasn't that keen on and didn't overly enjoy. I, of course, will keep collecting it, but I'm not going to probably rush to read it. It's definitely... I can appreciate, I don't think it's necessarily bad. I think it's just it wasn't for me, which is fine. It happens. It happens. Even though I quite like that cover. It's so pretty with the hair and... oh. Another parcel. We have done 2 of 4. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. I'll probably mute that because that sounded awful. Oh dear. Just wanted to brute force it that time. Okay, so on top we have, as a reincarnated aristocrat, I'll use my appraisal skill to rise in the world 3. This is an isekai. I have not started reading it yet. I'm so sorry. So sorry. I was intending to read it during Isekai month and then I ended up not getting as much reading as I intended at all in the slightest. It was very sad. I've been so busy unfortunately recently, not even just with manga stuff, with a whole bunch of personal stuff and work, and I've just not had time to read as much as I usually do. It's hopefully going to calm down in the next month or 2, and then I really want to get a whole bunch of reading done, especially over December where I take lots of December off for my holidays. I want to do reading overload in December basically. And have more days like this coming Sunday where I just sit and read as much as I can. But yes, I've tried to fill in a couple of gaps of this series because these were actually a really good price on Scifier. I need to go and check how much they were. but I'm quite happy I don't have any gaps in the series now. Next we have One Dance 5, which is unfortunately another series I have started reading yet, but I'm staying up to date. It is about dancing, I believe, and I was a bit concerned about how well dancing would be portrayed in a book, but apparently it's actually pretty good. When I look at pages like that, that's quite neat. I think you do need a lot of like, usually I'm really picky with my like art styles. I don't like things to be too messy, but I think to like try and convey dance on a page, you do need it to try and invoke movement. So I'm weirdly okay with it in stuff like this. I had it off camera. In stuff like this, I'm weirdly okay with it, but it's probably one of the few times I am. Also, yellow volume. We always appreciate a yellow volume here. Okay, next we're gonna do this because damn am I so excited. This was like, I nearly did an early sci-fi order just to get this volume, and it is the Gently Raised Beast 3. My Gently Raised Beast 3, sorry. Oh my god. I read volume 1 because I was like, Easy Press sent me Easy Press sent me volume 2, and I was like, oh my god, this is so exciting. I really I want to try and read all the stuff they sent me. So I read both volume 1 and volume 2 in the same day, and I was like, damn, when's volume 3 coming out? I need it. It is so good. I loved it so much. It is a fantasy, I was gonna say romance. It is a bit romancy, but it's not an isekai. I feel like I just need to clarify sometimes for series. It is fantasy, but not isekai. And this guy can kind of transform into a cat puma thing. It's adorable. It's amazing. And he's become good friends with this girl who grew up in poverty, and it was discovered that actually she was like the king's daughter, emperor's daughter. I can't remember his ranking, and she's been like brought in, but she's like, yeah. Oh my god, let's definitely go straight into the basket after this. This is Inspector 17. Now this is actually a series for Ben. Ben's been reading this. Now unfortunately we are missing a bunch of early volumes. I think volume 5? Kick the table. Volume 5 and volume 9 have been a right pain to try and find, especially volume 5. And he is quite sad because he has really enjoyed what he's read so far. So we've been getting him later volumes when we see them, like second hand or half price, trying to keep him up to date while hunting down the volumes he needs. One day he'll read it. Next we have The Boxer Volume 2. Now I am actually a little behind on this because Volume 3 is also out, but I decided to not grab both 2 and 3 because these are a bit more pricey, being in colour with thicker pages and all that. So I'll probably pick it up in my next order. I have not read The Boxer Volume 1 yet. It is another one I intend to read on Sunday. I also do intend to film a video of it. I'm going to film like all the Volume 1s I read, kind of like the one I did where I'd vlog as I go of stuff I read throughout the month of March. I'm going to do that, but for the day and just entirely Volume 1s. And I want to try and read all the Volume 1s of Easy Press that I have not yet read. So it's like Boxer, The World After the Fall, and Tomb Raider King, I think. So I'll let you know what I think. And I think I have Volume 2 of all of them. So I can choose to jump straight into those if I want. Next we have, yes, another As a Reincarnated Aristocrat. I'll use my appraisal skill to rise in the world. Volume 5. And this was the other gap volume that I had to be able to have a clear run to Volume 6. I saw somewhere that Volume 6 was the final volume, and then I saw somewhere show the cover art for like Volume 10 or Volume 11. So I'm not sure what to think. Unsure. I'll find out when I read it, I guess. Next we have, oh yes, I love this title, Saint? No, I'm Just a Passing Beast Tamer, Volume 1. Oh, I love silly titles like that with exclamation marks, though it really does mess up my spreadsheet and look a bit weird. Very excited, Volume 1. I am going to read this one on Sunday. And yes, it is an isekai. So she was sick in her previous life and she could only admire animals from the other side of the screen. This time she's reborn as a healthy, spry young girl, so nothing's going to stop her from petting all the fluffy critters she can. Oh my god, what goals is that? Reborn and just want to pet the cats. Well, all the animals. Oh, but there's a kitty in there and it's so fluffy. Oh my gosh. I was gonna say where's my fluffy cat, but she's ambled off. If she reappears, I'll show you her fluffy tummy. Okay, next we have Bo Fairy. I don't want to get hurt, so I'll max out my defense 6. This is also a fun, cute little isekai. It is a sort of, it's a different kind. You're not reborn, you're just playing a video game, kind of like Sword Art Online without the whole being trapped aspect. Shangri-La Frontier is another one. Also another title I talked a bit more in depth about in my Isekai video game video, if you're interested. Very, very cute, fun, light-hearted, and just a general pleasant read. I believe there is also an anime. Next, we have A Complicated Omega's Second Love. Now, again, I need to just say, Tokyo Bop, oh my god, they should rename themselves Tokyo Bop. Anyway, Tokyo Pop have really upped their game with their spines and the font on their spines. They used to be really, really gross and not nice to look at, and now they're like so cool and neat and amazing, and I want to collect them all, even though they're all one-shots, and one-shots really annoy me because they like look silly on the shelf on their own. Oh dear. But yes, I've been enjoying some of my Omega stories recently. I know a couple of my friends find them really off-putting, but I don't care. I have been enjoying. Oh dear, that definitely potentially needed plastic wrapping. I don't know if do Tokyo Pop wrap any of their volumes? I don't think they do. On or Off isn't wrapped, and that's definitely very explicit. Okay, next we have My Dress Up Darling 9, and it was such a good price. This series is $14.99 in store now. Big Square Enix volume is $14.99. Very upsetting, and I think I paid $8 or $7 something. I can't remember, but it's $14.99 just is so sad. I mean, I don't even pay that much for like my Vinland Sagas when I buy them secondhand. No, there's very few series that I will pay above £10 for. Now obviously you buy it in a 3 for 2. Actually no, if you buy it in a 3 for 2 it'd still be about £10. There are very few series that I'd pay £10 a volume for. Vinland Saga, chunky hardbacks has been about it, but also I'm very, very super cheap and will happily wait until I buy it secondhand, even if it's in a bit of a state. But yes, finally, gosh, it took me ages to get volume 8 and now I've got volume 9 as well. Next we have, Toilet Bound Hanako-kun 18. What a gorgeous red is that. I don't think the camera is doing it justice. That is like a burgundy wine red. That is so pretty. Actually, it's a bit lighter than wine red. I think I'm a couple of volumes behind on this as well. I don't think I've read my volume 17, but I've read up to 16. Definitely very, very pretty artwork. I don't know how long it's going to keep going on for. Actually, no. I won't flip through it because we're quite far into the series. I don't know how long the series is going to go on for. I don't know what the end goal is, unless I've just completely missed it. So I do enjoy it, but like I don't see like a. We're quite far in. Where's it heading? Where's it heading? Okay, next. Oh yes, Together. Very happy. We're in the Clear Moonlit Dust, both at 4 and 5. I have been I think 4 came out just after I did my last Scifier order, and then in that time 5 has also come out. It's just been that long and they're coming out that quickly. Very happy. I definitely think this is my favourite series by this manga artist of the ones that are published in English. Not huge on Subakicho or Daytime Shooting Star. This one has definitely been my favourite so far. I was unsure with volume 1, and then I enjoyed it more the more I've read it, the more further into the series that I've gone, is what I was trying to say. It's also a really nice blue. It's not a minty blue quite, but it's a nice, just bright light blue. Ooh, then we've got Waiting for Spring 13. Now, this is not a new release. Some of these aren't new releases. Some of them were just really good prices. And Waiting for Spring 13 and 14 are 2 volumes that I've been looking for a decent price for a long time. Now 14 was still a bit too pricey for my liking, so I just grabbed 13. But I am now 1 volume off being complete, and I know a lot of people complain about the spine on this one because like all the rest of them are white and then the text is black. I understand it's because the cover is white, but why is it white? Does it need to be white? I also think the story wraps up in 13 and then 14 is like bonus stories. From my understanding. Could be wrong. Next we have a Trinity in Tempest. So that time I got reincarnated as a slime. Trinity in Tempest 5. Now this is a spin-off to the main series, and I have put off reading it because I wasn't sure if I'd read enough of the main series. I do think I can, having a look online, trying to find somewhere that would say. I really, really love the main series, so I really, really want to read the spin-offs quite badly. There's this one, Trinity in Tempest, and Ways of the Monster Nation, and I think another one might be getting an English print, but there are a few others that aren't in English as of yet, or at least physically. So it's exciting. That one was not a bad price at all. And then finally we have Dan 4, which is me staying up to date with the series, though I am a couple of volumes behind on reading it, it seems to be very like silly humor, and people seem to have either loved it or hated it. I think I enjoyed it. I'm not sure I'd say I loved it, but I enjoyed it. It was very, very silly and slapstick. I'm curious to see how it keeps going though. Does it get more serious or does it stay silly? I'm interested to know. Actually, wait, don't tell me, no spoilers. I'll figure it out when I read it. We are halfway through. Hopefully I will edit this so it's not as long as it's taken me to film. Okay, so first off we have My Girlfriend's Child 2. I know a lot of people have really enjoyed this one because of like how real it's felt and it's very sensitive topics, and it is interesting to read a series which does deal with more sensitive topics that you don't generally read in a series, in a manga like this. Personally, I think it was just a bit too down for me. I just felt a bit sad reading it, which I understand is part of the point. It's just not what I want to read, which is fine. I do appreciate there being more series like this which do deal with more sensitive topics for potentially younger girls to read and understand it's okay to have these feelings when things happen and don't happen the way you expect it. It's just not as much for me. Just felt a bit sad. Just want to give her a cuddle. I do like the boyfriend. He seems great. Okay, next we have Eminence in Shadow 7. This was a series that I started reading during Isekai month and I thought it was great. I thought it was so silly and over the top, and I can't wait to read more. It is an isekai. It is a very, very silly isekai. It's great. It's great. So silly, though they're very, very thin. So I don't really like to even buy them in a 3 for 2. It's just too expensive because they're also quite quick reads. Next, we have got Saigami Volume 2, and this is another series by Rockport. I believe this one is an isekai. Yeah, it is an isekai, and also they have the flag of the person who drew and wrote the story for it. I'm not going to start trying to guess flags because I will upset someone and I don't want to do that. This was also a really good price. I think in one of my next orders I'm going to try and sweep up more series by this publisher because there were definitely a few more volumes. Next we have I Want to Be a Receptionist in This Magical World. Ooh, I thought it was going to be an isekai. It doesn't read on the blurb like it is an isekai, which is interesting. But it still looks like my kind of thing. I'm excited to read it. Another one I'll probably pick up on Sunday, and then I can tell you more about it. Next we have another volume 1. We've got a load of volume 1s, don't we? Secrets of the Silent Witch. That's a really pretty cover. I've also enjoying this map. Gosh. Oh my gosh, isn't this relatable? Monica Everett is the Silent Witch, the only mage in the world who has mastered the art of enchanted magecraft. But Monica hides a secret. The reason she learnt to use magic without speaking is merely because of her extreme shyness. Oh my gosh, how relatable is that? I'm saying this now. You can see when I do my videos, I get really, really chatty, but that's because I'm in a room on my own talking to no one except my cats. Whereas if you try and talk to me in person, I pretty much clam up and don't say anything, and I look at my feet and nod barely occasionally. Not sure yet if this video will have gone up before the event, but we are doing an in-person meetup in the Discord server, so that should be fun with me being horrendously awkward. It'll be fine. I'm looking forward to reading that one more now. Next we have The Call of the Night Volume 2. This was such a pretty series. Volume 1 was so pretty. I absolutely loved the sparkles and the stars. It reminded me a little bit of Witch Hat Atelier with the the cutesy style. Actually, a bit like Kaiju Girl Caramelized meets Witch Hat Atelier in terms of style, I suppose. It's a bit too... I mean, I feel like Witch Hat Atelier's style feels so unique, especially in the way they draw boundaries and borders and stuff. I mean, look at that back cover. Okay, so we had to take a short break because I was filming of my lunch break and I had to go back to work. So if you notice a change in lighting, it is because it is later in the day and it is now raining once again very, very, very heavily. Where were we? Right, next we have Might As Well Isekai titles. Might As Well Cheat, I Got Transported to Another World Where I Can Live Out My Wildest Dreams, Volume 5. That definitely looks like a cover in need of plastic wrapping. I have read up to Volume 3 of this. Volumes 1 and 2 I found really silly, not particularly... It was quite dumb, basically. And then obviously the story was going to get a bit dry if they kept going at the rate they were going, sticking with the same sort of story, so it's kind of deviated off into its own thing. And I was a little less fussed about that, so I haven't read my volume 4, but Ben has. Ben, I think, said it was fine. But we have volume 5. I wonder, like, how it's going to keep going. It started to get more serious, and I enjoyed it because it was dumb, but it couldn't have maintained being dumb for so long, was my issue. Okay, next we have Case Study of Vanitas Volume 9, which is a new-ish release, though I do realise now, having placed this order, I am still missing Volume 8. I was going to say up to date, but I'm not. I don't have 8, and that rhymes. This series was like, I feel like I was waiting ages for reprints, and then I got a whole bunch secondhand and a couple in store, because there was, I think the anime came out and there was some huge hype, and it just all the volumes disappeared. And I wasn't going to pay crazy prices. I think the other series by this manga artist might also have had a reprint, which I think is Pandora Hearts. Do correct me if I'm wrong. And I think the singles had a reprint, so I'm probably going to try and look out for those more often as well. Oh, we have another Mao, Volume 11. So yes, that was the other one I was needing. So yeah, 10, 11, and 12 in this haul. Oh my god, that is chunky. Kakegurui 16. Really enjoy Kakegurui. I love the games they play, and I love the explanations of the games they play, even though they make no damn sense half the time, and also like some of them are crazy, like, oh, we've just built this whole building for one game, because that level of insanity, I love it. I also genuinely quite enjoy gambling games. I just don't like playing them to gamble, if that makes sense. I really like playing games like poker and blackjack, just not with actual money. But those are I really enjoy games like that. So reading about this has been really, really fun, but it does not release very often, does it? Goodness. I caught up to the series in like 2020, early 2020, pre-lockdown, and then I think there's been like 3 volumes out since then. It's like one a year, but at least we get chunky ones. That's like the saving grace. And there is also Kakegurui Twin, but I'm behind on picking that up. Next we have, oh yes, Love and Heart 8. Now, I must say, I really, really, really enjoyed the series, and then some spoilers. There were things that happened in Volume 7 that have got me less enjoying it. Apparently it completes, I think, 10 volumes, so I assume we're kind of like heading towards an ending, which I think I'm glad about. It's definitely not one that could go on for too long. No idea how it's going to wrap up, though. No idea. I'm very curious to see. That's like another toxic relationship that I enjoy. Okay, next we have Call to Adventure Defeating Dungeons with a Skill Board, Volume 5. This was also really cheap for some reason. Very, very happy. This is not an isekai. It actually is quite a lot like Solo Leveling, just a lot more lighthearted. I say that it does have some gory moments, but it's still much more lighthearted than Solo Leveling. It's also not as good as Solo Leveling. Pretty much a similar premise of dungeons have started popping up in the real world, and people go into them and salvage stuff to sell, and also try and keep monsters from spilling out. It's very remarkably similar if you very vaguely describe it. Next we have Cinderella Closet Volume 2. Volume 1 was really sweet. I don't know what I was expecting from it. I just heard it was like a not office romance, but like more older people romance, adult romance. Adult romance sounds wrong. It's like they're people that are adults and they have a romance. That's what I mean. And I did quite enjoy it. It was nice and jolly, and I really liked the sort of relationship that's developed between what's the character called? Between these two. I like the relationship that's developed between these two characters. I think it's also complete at like 8 volumes. I hope we keep getting like nice pastel colours for the volumes. What I really wish is more publishers showed off what the spines would look like. They show a lot of cover, but I wish they show what the spines look like. I know Viz do. Viz, like, they announce their volumes and they do it like that so you can see the spine, but I wish more publishers would do that. Because I love, on my shelves, I see the spines more than I see the covers, so I almost care about it more. Let's do this one because we can see it. We have What's Wrong with Secretary Kim 2, which is more colourful spines. Volume 1 was pink and this was yellow. I did really enjoy this one, though I just had to take a moment because I started to mix it up in my head with Business Proposal. This is not Business Proposal, this is Secretary Kim, which I did still enjoy. I just mixed the two up in my head for a moment. I'm looking forward to seeing more of the relationship progressing between the two, which I feel like I could say about either this and Business Proposal. I think it's just because they're both manhwas in an office environment, is why I'm mixing them up in my head. I also think I read them pretty close together. But I don't have Business Proposal 2. Stop talking about Business Proposal. It's not Business Proposal. Oh my god. What's wrong with Secretary Kim? Yeah. Okay, what is this one? It is... Ooh, My Mate is a Feline Gentleman, and it is plastic wrapped. Ooh, is this a one-shot? Is this a one-shot? It doesn't have a number on the spine. No number on the spine usually means one-shot. I find out when I read it. Maybe I'll read this one on Sunday as well. I have so much to read on Sunday. Oh my god. Right, yes. Plastic wrapped. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. On to the next one. So we have 2 more of these. 2 more, which is still quite a few. Now to get them in shot, hopefully you can see that. Let's do this one first because this has excited me. That time I got reincarnated as a slime 22. It's one of my favourite isekai and just one of my favourite series. I feel like we had a long gap between volumes and then I think I've had 2 quite quickly in the last few months. Very happy. Nice and slightly chunky. I was a bit unsure about where the story was going next. I have been enjoying it more than I thought I would. I think my main issue I'm having at the moment is because there are bigger gaps between volumes and we've kind of reached a point in the series where there is a lot of characters. I'm starting to forget who people are because a lot of the time earlier on we pretty much only focused on Rimuru, and now we might get like a quarter of the volume or half a volume which has Rimuru, and it's like, who are all these other people? I don't remember. Does it have like a bio at the front? I really appreciate series that have a bio at the front. Nope, no bio. Damn it. I still do enjoy it. I wonder how far into the light novels we are with this volume. Okay, we also have Parallel Paradise 14. This was actually a pretty good price considering it's a plastic wrapped 7 Seas or Ghost Ship imprint. Are usually upsettingly expensive. I don't know why it being plastic wrapped caused it to go up like £1 or 2 in price. I very much doubt the plastic costs that much. This is such a questionable isekai, but I think actually in terms of the isekai I read, it's one of the few that is like really trying to build a story around why he's been isekai'd and what's happening. That's been really good to read about. It just everything else around the edges and the girls is like so questionable and also really weird to read. It just, you're reading it and you're like, that just doesn't look right. But I think I'm actually enjoying like the story of where things are going. It's just really weird. Really, really weird. I think I remember showing Ben volume 1, there was a panel, I was like, what do you think's happening here? And he was like, is she brushing her teeth? And I was like, that is absolutely not that is not what is happening in this panel, Ben. You poor naive soul. Okay, next we have Phantom of the Opera. Oh my god, I am very tired. Phantom of the Idol 4. Now finally, I don't have a gap in this series because I pre-ordered volume 5 and then not volume 3 and volume 4, so I was trying to pick them up as and when, and now I have it. I think 6 might be out though, so I am once again behind, but I find that these smaller credential volumes are actually pretty good price on Scifier, so they're definitely ones I usually try and go for. I say over anything else, I go for everything on Scifier, but these ones are really good, and small yen press as well. Okay, next we have some volumes which are not new releases, but they were ones I was very happy to see, and one is Livingston Volume 4. This is a 4-volume series. I don't want to say out of print, but it is hard to find. I've got volumes 1 and 2. I got them secondhand, and I am now only missing volume 3. I don't know much about it other than quite a few people on Instagram tend to recommend it and say it's a good short series, so quite excited. Also, nice colourful spines, and it's matte. Next we have Requiem of the Rose King 10. This is another one that is not a new release, but a series where I have quite a few gaps, unfortunately most of them early on. I think I need volumes 3, 5, and then 1 more, and I'll be complete. Unfortunately one of them is volume 3, which is a very early volume. Really, really, really want to try and read this one, because I think it's one of Himiko's like favourite series. I think she was so excited when the last volume came out, and I really like talking to people about their favourite series. It's so much fun. So I am absolutely on the hunt to try and complete this as soon as I can to be able to read it. Also, set in Yorkshire, so I think I have to read it by law. Oh, and then we have another volume that is not a new release, and that is Demon Love Spell Volume 6. And this is the final volume in the series, and the final volume that I needed to complete the series. Very happy to find it. All of my other volumes, actually no, of my 5 volumes, 4 were bought secondhand. One of them was a gift from Himika years ago. Oh my god, it was years ago. Shit. When we did our manga box swaps, she gave me volume 1 of this, and I've been trying to find them ever since. It's been quite difficult, and very happy to find it. Very happy to find it. I feel like there's a lot of shoujo beat series which are just hard to find nowadays. Next we have Helk Volume 4. I do like that the covers all connect. I think that's pretty cool. This is a fantasy series published by Viz. So far there are 4 out, but I think it is complete at 12. Unfortunately, I wasn't too taken away with Volume 1, which really surprised me because I love fantasy. Isekai is a subgenre of fantasy, and I love fantasy in its own right. So I was really excited when Viz put out a fantasy because I feel like they don't too often. There's like Furin. There's probably more, but yeah. So I was really excited when they announced this one, and then I wasn't really feeling Volume 1, which is a shame. I'm hoping reading more. I do enjoy more, but I think there was like a day where I read Helk Volume 1 and read Hunter's Guild Volume 1, and just neither of them really jumped out at me, and I was really, really grumpy. So I hope it gets better. As we have Case Closed 87, I am staying up to date with this series. I am committed to Case Closed now. No, I have not started reading it yet. I am scared, but I will do. It's going to be like one horrific month where I just no one talk to me, I'm reading Case Closed. Next we have Kaiju number 8, volume 7. I guessed we'd get a green soon, and we got a green. Very, very happy. I enjoy it. It's a fun battle shonen. I wouldn't say it's outstanding, but I enjoy reading it, and that's all that matters really. Also, it's one that Ben reads, so we can talk about it, which is nice. So I had to be very careful with what I brought out next. Next we have Bootylicious, and I have covered some very precarious yet very amusing parts of this cover. If I did not think I could potentially get demonetized, I would absolutely show you, because I had to take a moment to compose myself when I read the little bubble they have up here in this corner. Now, well, I'm going to post a picture of it in the Discord in the Not Safe for Work channel, because that caught me. That was amusing. Yes, Bootyholic. What did I call it? Bootylicious? It's not called Bootylicious, it's called Bootyholic, but there should be one called Bootylicious. Next we have Fairy Tail 100-Year Quest 13. I definitely am a couple of volumes behind on this, but actually kind of purposefully. I am at the moment, they're kind of during mid fight battle-y thing, or at least they were, and I find series where they cross fighting crosses multiple volumes. If I don't binge them together, I have absolutely no idea what's happening, and I find it harder to get invested in the stakes and the characters. So I'm going to hold off a few volumes and then read them all together, is my plan. And we have My Love Mix-Up Volume 8. When I had this series completed at 9, I was like, I'm going to stop reading, and I'll read them when I get the 9th volume. And that is still my intention. I find anything set in high schools or stuff is generally, I find it more fun to binge, because I struggle with character names and remembering who's who, especially if some of them look quite similar. They've got similar hair, similar face. I'm very, very bad at remembering who's who. But if I read them all together, it definitely makes it a lot easier and easier for me to remember names. So it's generally my go-to. As soon as I fall a couple of volumes behind and I hear there's an end date or an end number of volumes, that's my preference. As we have The King's Beast Volume 10, I'm staying up to date with this, but I heard that it does actually start to cross over or talk a bit about some of the stuff that happens in Dawn of the Arcana, which is not a series I have complete or have read yet. So I did stop reading, and I'm going to try and collect that series, read that series, and then go back to this one, is my plan. And then I think some people said it's not too bad, but I'm happy to, I have enough other stuff. I'm happy to wait and just put this on the back burner. Give it a bit, get the rest of the other series, and then continue on. Next we have Volume 1 of The Fox and the Little Tanuki. I'll show it, so it is this way round, but I'll show it this way because of the picture. I was blackmailed, coerced, asked very nicely to pick this up by Kitsune, one of the mods on the server, because she very much would like other people to read it as well, and I am very easy to sway when it comes to picking up manga. So I did. and there might be a volume 2 as well, though I am not impressed with this spine. What is that font? I was praising Tokyo Pop's font earlier, and now I'm like, nope, this is boo. Boo, boo, boo. Final parcel, we are almost there. From the top, we have got bloody sweet, and goddamn, this is bloody heavy. Wow, I did not realise it was full colour. That explains why it was a bit more pricey. I did not realise that at all. Not your average vampire story. Oh, vampire romance. Vampire colour romance. Wrong way around. I am more intrigued. I genuinely have no idea what this was about. Pretty much it got to the end of the buying stream and I was like, okay, I can think I can put 2 more volumes in my basket before I call it quits. And I happened upon this and everyone was like, get it, get it, get it. And I was like, okay. Also, it's yellow, and once again, we do love a bit of a yellow spine cover around here. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Why Raeliana ended up at the Duke's Mansion 4. Oh, yes, very much enjoying this isekai. It is also in full colour. It is, oof. Yes, I really enjoy it. Very excited. This and Gently Raised Beast were like 2 where I was like, I'm so excited to place the order for these volumes. Aha! And we've got multiple colours. We have had a pink, we have had a green, we have had a blue, and now we have a purple. Can't wait to see what 5 is. It's such a nice purple as well. Very excited. Oh, so heavy. So excited. Okay, next we have Shadows House 4, and I must say I really like the kind of red on red. I know it makes it a bit difficult to read, but I really kind of like it. That's good. Oh my gosh, I'm looking ahead. Stop looking ahead. Actually, I need to check which are any of these Faku. I think I see a Faku. That's a Faku. Okay, I'll go find my post-its or use the bookmarks again. Anywho, yes, I am still behind on a couple of volumes. This is I think it's a neat, interesting series. It's definitely different to a lot of other stuff I've read. I wonder where it's heading. What's going on? It's kind of mysterious, a bit weird, strange, intriguing. Once again, nice and matte. Do love me matte. Next we have The Great Snake Bride Volume 1, which looks very strange. I, for some reason, assumed it was plastic wrapped based on something someone else said, but it's not. And I will be reading this definitely for sure on Sunday because I think Kitsune said she wanted to buddy read it, and we're going to buddy read it when she gets back from work. I'm going to hold on to it for doing it, to read it later on the Sunday. I hope it's good. Next we have... Make sure... I'll do the Faku next so I can cover it. Next we have Drifting Dragons 14. What a beautiful colour. Colours and cover. That's so nice. These are so pretty. I've read like half of the volumes I've got, I think, so I am definitely behind. Very pretty. Definitely getting more expensive nowadays, but wasn't too bad on Scifier. Very happy with what I paid. Would definitely recommend checking them out there. I think it was like £7 something, maybe. Post using code Caketinz, 10% off. Here we go. Next we have Monopolize, and yeah, there's a lot of this cover I had to cover. That's pretty much all I have to say. It's not as funny as Booty Holic or whatever it was. Next we have A Condition Called Love Volume 4. I really, really like this one. I know a lot of people don't, and they don't like the main character, the male character. I very much do. I enjoy it. I like the interactions between them because I definitely relate quite heavily to the female character, especially when I was at, I suppose, the equivalent of high school, secondary school. So I do enjoy it. So I was really, really looking forward to grabbing this one. I like how quickly they're coming out, so it's like every time I place an order I've got another volume of this. Next we have Boarding School Juliet 10, another volume that is not a new release, but they had it for a good price. I am missing, I think, 1 volume before I'm complete with this series. Very, very happy. I've been picking it up for years now. 16 volumes complete, yeah, and I think I need 1 more. So happy. Here it is. We have Fox and the Tanuki Volume 2, and I'm so sorry, Kitsune, but the spines are awful. I'm so sad. I really hope the story is better. I hope it's really cute. This feels really dense, actually. Though I must say, I do like those different colours. I was worried they were all going to be brown, but this one's green. I'm quite happy with that. I think there's 6 out. I believe there's 6 of these out at the time of recording. Ooh, next we have Undead Unluck 12. Oh my gosh. I do enjoy Undead Unluck. Though I have some mixed feelings about the last volume actually. I don't think the series is complete in Japan, but it's like, it's on the way. It's like immediately, or it's already like in the final arc or something. I feel like a lot of the Shonen Jump series have kind of done that. They've kind of jumped into ending quite a lot quicker than they used to back in my day. No. Which is, I suppose, okay. I don't know. I have mixed feelings on it. I'm unsure. I think it'd be neat if it had a few more arcs before it went into Endgame arc, but I don't. Would it have then felt like it dragged on? I don't know. I don't know. Also, why are the spines now black? We had them all nice and white and colourful, and now they're black. Why? Next we have Tista Volume 2, which is the final volume in the series. It is only a 2-volume series. It is by the same mangaka as Spy Family. I think that's probably why it got a release, because I think this work is older than Spy Family. I have actually no idea about it in the slightest. I did also intend to try and read Volume 1 on Sunday. So many Volume 1s on Sunday, oh my god. This doesn't include the Volume 1s I'd already pulled out from my shelves. Anywho, no idea anything. I don't know if it's good, bad, had mixed reviews, or anything in the slightest. It's kind of chunky, which is nice, but I assume they need to try and wrap it all up into a volume, otherwise they'd have had 2 really thin volumes. Okay, next we have The Valiant Must Fall, and I think this is Volume 1? Yeah, Volume 1. I'd seen some positive things about this on Instagram, but it seemed really expensive in store, so I didn't want to pick it up. But yeah, good prices on Scifier, so I grabbed it. It has French flaps, which is neat, and a couple of colour pages. Oh dear, it's not damaged the book. And we have a couple of colour pages at the beginning, which is neat, and then I assume it goes into story. Again, don't know anything about it. And next we have, and I think this actually is the last 2 things in the haul. Next we have Romantic Killer Volume 4. Now, am I correct? Yes, this is the final volume of Romantic Killer. So I haven't read my Volume 3, so I'll read Volumes 3 and 4 together. I know that I have said some not nice things about the series, and I honestly do stand by them still. And I know a lot of people have said, watch the anime. I'm not going to watch the anime. I don't tend to watch anime. I just don't have the time to ingest both manga and anime, and my preference is generally just to read the manga if I can. Also, isn't the premise still the same? Anyway, if you enjoy it, that is great. That's wonderful. I'm really glad that you do. It's just, I found it a bit weird. Very, very weird. And yeah, I know I have enjoyed other weird, toxic things. As I said earlier, I don't always understand why some things I enjoy and some things I don't, and this has just been one where I've just not really gotten the appeal. I found it very, very weird. Very weird. But I do actually like the artwork. I like that it's bright and colourful, and I shouldn't flip through it because potential spoilers, it's the last volume. But yeah. It's fine. Right, last volume in this haul isn't actually something for me, it was something I bought for Ben, and that is Overlord Light Novel 16. This is Ben's favourite light novel series, and I was like, do you want me to get you anything? And he pretty much just said Final Fantasy Lost 29 and Overlord 16. He is very, very happy, though less happy that both 15 and 16 have been quite narrow and quite thin for an Overlord light novel, probably because he said there's something about an arc that's been spread across 2 volumes, and it could have potentially just been one slightly bigger one, but they opted to split it into 2. I'm not entirely sure, but he very much ranted at me for a good 10 minutes about it. It was, yeah. So this is for Ben, as a here you go Ben. Sometimes I buy him nice things, I swear. Honestly, I do. So I hope he enjoys that. He'll probably start reading that tonight, if not over the weekend. Now to sort of try and tidy this up. So this isn't quite all of it, we still got a big stack here, and the Faku's obviously off to the side, but yes, this was such a good haul. I'm so happy. So many new releases, so many volumes, just filling in some gaps. I'm trying to decide on my next haul, do I do new releases again, or just try and sweep up a bunch of stuff to fill in gaps? I have a whole load of series where I need 1 or 2 volumes, and then I'm up to date. It would be really satisfying to try and clear all those out. It'd make my behind number on my spreadsheet, it's like series I'm behind on, go down a whole bunch. That made me happy. Now I have the horrific task of deciding what to read first and picking out the volume 1s for Sunday, but I am so happy with all this. Oh, there's so much reading. So don't forget to check out Scifier and use code Caketinz to get 10% off your order. Make sure you do the entire purchase in Great British Pounds to make sure that you can use the discount code and earn points towards future orders. especially if you're based in Europe and you can take advantage of that insanely good shipping. Oh my god. It is likely that things will take a little longer to get to you, but just think of the savings. Oh, personally, I don't really mind how long things take to ship as long as they do eventually ship, and I'm saving money. Well, saving money, I suppose. I just spent all this. I'm trying to decide if I do another Buy With Me stream at the end of August. This should go up before the end of August. Trying to decide if I do another one because it was really, really fun. And like everyone shouting out like new releases that have come out this month and stuff. I just found it really fun to do. Maybe I'll do it again. Unsure, undecided. I'll think about it. Because there are other sort of live streams I'd like to do. But do check out my live streams if you haven't already. And if you haven't already, do remember to give this video a like and comment down below what you thought. What would you read first? What have you picked up from Scifier? Anything from here that you're going to pick up from Scifier using code Caketinz for 10% off. Woo! And also remember, check out my social media and affiliate links down below, like the Dudettes Discord server for more up-to-date deals and stuff that's come out. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to go and find a corner and do some more reading, just like I did last month. I hope you have the most wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye!